You're breaking off, you got a strip line out, you got backlashes, you got a strip line out. Here's the big con on the Concept A2.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh my gosh! It's a whale! 9/11. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're brand new here, I'm Oklahoma's Worst Angler. And before you go anywhere, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Smash the thumbs up. Let me know if you guys like this video or not. Today, as you can tell by the title, we're talking about the Concept A2 from 13 Fishing. Now, this reel, I'm a big fan. I do like this reel quite a bit. And a reason that I want to say that from the jump is because I'm going to talk about some things that sounds kind of like I'm hating on it. But, you know, this is just an honest review, in my opinion, of what I think of the reel. So, let's get into it. I got some things laying out here on the table, which is why we're so zoomed in so you can't see what kind of mess I'm working with here. But I wanted to show you guys some stuff, especially like some of the cons. The main con that I have to this reel. But let's talk a little bit about the specs, okay? It is an aluminum frame reel. It's low profile. It is fairly lightweight. I don't know the exact specs as far as the weight goes. It's nothing that's extremely lighter than, you know, say like an SLX or a Tatula. It's around the same weight. So, I mean, it's a fairly lightweight reel. It is very compact, fits in the palm very nicely. Some big changes they made this year, or with this version of the Concept A. They did away with a lot of the chrome accents. The only Concept A that I have is the A3, which is their swim bait reel. So I can kind of look at that one and point out some of the differences. So they did away with some of the chrome accents. They added a lot of cork. You know, you got the cork handle on there. You've got the cork on the clutch bar. It's a nice little aesthetic type pleasing stuff that they did. They changed the knobs. The knobs, the verdict is still out on the knobs. I like the knobs, but then I go and use something like a different reel for a while, and I'm like, I don't know if I really like the angle of these. I mean, you get a great purchase on the knob itself, a great purchase on it, but me personally, I'm kind of up in the air. Now, I know you can swap handles out. This is trick shot compatible. You can do just about anything you want with this reel from 13 or aftermarket stuff. But let's just talk about it straight out of the box. So, aluminum frame. One thing about this reel is when it is strapped onto the rod, it does have a great feel to it. There's no flex, there's no wobble, nothing like that to it. Again, lightweight, fits in the palm very nicely. However, we're talking about an aluminum frame reel. The side plate, which is their beetle wing, the attached side plate right there, so that side plate isn't going to go falling off. Say you make a cast and you know, your side plate pops open, like on a SLX DC. Sorry Okie, but you're not going to lose that side plate. You can see right in there, you've got the 6-way centrifugal braking system, very easy to adjust. You've got the numbers right there. Braking system is great. The tension knob has an audible click to it. Hopefully this heater is not throwing off the audio too bad. But tension knob has an audible click to it. I forgot what I was talking about. Aluminum frame, the side plate is not aluminum. Side plate is not aluminum. I did drop this and I cracked the side plate just enough to bother me as far as, again, aesthetics go. See if we can get that chip in the side plate there. You guys can probably see that. Just a little chip right up there. But again, when you're talking about a reel around this price range, you kind of expect just a little bit of a full build quality. A better full build quality is what I'm trying to say here. So, little things, not that big of a deal, but when you're dropping, you know, around this price range for a reel, you kind of want something just a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? But having a plastic side plate does help reduce the weight of the reel. So, catch-22. You know, what are you going to do? It does have their Arrowhead line guide system, which is supposedly, supposed to help keep that line on the spool nice and even, which it does. The reel spools up evenly, very nicely, very smoothly. As far as dialing this in straight out of the box, it is pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. It is not going to be finicky like a Tatula. Now, I love my Tatulas, but they do take a little bit more work to get dialed in out of the box. This, very comparable to a Shimano as far as ease of access or like ease of dialing it in. Okay, clutch bar is great. Nice, solid purchase on there. Great audible click. I mean, you know exactly when that's happening. One thing they added to this reel, besides, the matte black decals and lettering, little things that they did with it, is they put a hook keeper on the very top of the reel there. So they have what they call the integrated hook keeper. That's it right up top there. This thing is, well, it's meant to catch fishermen more so than hooks. And the reason I say that is, it's just one of those things that it's supposed to feel cool. It looks cool. It's a cool feature. However, do I use it? No. I've used it maybe once or twice. But, you've got to be sure that your line guide is off to the side. You can't have your line guide centered up and that hook in the integrated hook keeper at the same time. So you have to, you have to be sure that you're not doing that. But I digress. Let's get back to ease of access, castability. Let's talk about this. I throw this reel on, a medium heavy rod to a heavy rod. It has thrown my 1/8 ounce Texas rigs, which I got right here, a little torn up Rage Bug. 1/8 ounce tungsten Rage Bug with a 4/0 or a 3/0 hook on there. Hooks that bait extremely well for being, a full size bait caster, 150 size spool. I've thrown lipless on it. I've thrown some heavier baits on it, like some 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce jigs. I've thrown those on it just fine. It casts just as well as, say, like some of my Tatulas. It casts just as well as an SLX as well. And that's saying something for the SLX, but we're not talking about the SLX. If you want to hear me talk about the SLX, I'll do an SLX video. But casts great, feels great. 25 pounds of drag, never had an issue with the drag slipping, never cranked it all the way down either. It's a great reel. It feels good in the hand, it casts good, it performs extremely well. Now, let's talk about the con. The big con, the big thing that I want to talk to you guys about with this reel. We're going to talk about spools, okay? Now, I've got a little bit of footage here that I shot a little while back because I had this with no line on it. But I had to go fishing, so I need to put line on it. So I really quickly shot some footage here, and I don't really remember what it was, exactly what I was saying, so we're just going to put it in here. What I'm talking about is the spool size difference of an SLX to the Concept A2. The big difference with these spools is the SLX is just a little bit wider. It is the same spool size technically. It is a 150 spool size. However, the 13 spool is so much deeper and more narrow that when you get down to it, we're talking about, being fishermen, a lot of the time, like, we need to be frugal with our equipment and frugal with our line. So when we're talking about line, this is line from the top of the spool on the 13A2. Now this has been sitting out for a little bit, so it has expanded a little bit more. But what I want to talk about is when you get to the bottom of the spool, when you start getting closer to, say, you're breaking off, you got a strip line out, you got backlashes, you got a strip line out, but you don't want to use all that line in that spool. You still want to be able to use it. here's the big con on the Concept A2. So this right here is line that came off of the very bottom of the spool of the A2. Now again, it's been sitting out for a little bit, so it has expanded a little bit more, but look at the diameter difference in this right here. So what I'm talking about, for you guys who don't quite understand what I'm talking about, is when we're talking about being frugal with line, and we want to try and save as much line as possible, use as much line as possible, this is not really like a fair representation because again, some of this line has been sitting out, but look at the difference here. So when you start having backlashes or you start running out of line, you start having to cut line out of your spool, pretty soon you're going to be running from that kind of memory and that kind of diameter to this stuff right here. This stuff does not cast at all. This is a complete waste of line, complete waste. So that is my biggest con about the Concept A2 from 13. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but it is something to keep in mind. So if you are one of those, like me, a more budget-minded fisherman, family man, got kids to feed, I work full-time, I want a reel that I can use, and even like if I spool that thing out, that the line is not going to be compromised near as much as it is with this reel. That's why I kind of showed the SLX spool on there, okay? Because the SLX is almost half the price of the Concept A2. So, something to keep in mind there. Again, I splurged a little bit on this a while back. I wanted to give it a long time review. I mean, it's been 5-6 months that I've had this reel now. The reel's been great, but that is the biggest thing. And I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about that stuff. They don't talk about, they want to sit there and give you the specs and say it weighs this much, there's this many bearings, hardened gears, ham cut gearing, it's going to withstand, the heaviest fish and tons of drag and blah, 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 blah. I get that. It's great. But let's talk about the line. Let's talk about where is this going to save me money down the road, or where is this going to cost me more money down the road? Let's talk about those things. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today because, again, I'm a more budget-minded fisherman. I want a reel that I can use, and I can use pretty much all the way until that line is done without having to strip out 50 or 60 yards because the memory on it is like this and it's not casting. It's not just the fact that it's not casting, but with that memory and that line being so coiled up, it's going to refract more light in the water. Things to think about. Guys, I love the reel. Again, I love the reel, but I want to be real and just tell you, be real. I want to tell you guys things to look out for with certain reels. If you like this video and you're still here, again, hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. Tell me if you guys like this, if you like, how I do this reel review, if you want to see something on the SLX, if you want to see something on the A3, if you want to, I think I've talked about the A3. If I've talked about the A3, I'm going to put it up in the corner right there. Yeah. If I've talked about the A3. If you guys want to hear me talk about Tatulas, any of my reels that I've got, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate every single one of you. You're great. I'll see you next time we're on the water.